What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle, and today we got some exciting news to follow up with yesterday's teaser, and that is revealing what the teaser was referring to. The final hero going into 1.0 is going to be Flagellant. So I myself was in the Crusader cult for, ever as the 1.0 hero, but instead we get Flagellant, and honestly that is a really great choice as someone else. A lot of people were expecting Abomination, which was interesting. I could see why people thought it was Abomination, but between the between the bracelet and the quote for those things, to me it really just was gonna be Flagellant. I really didn't expect it to be Abomination, but it's interesting the people explaining it, and I thought those arguments had some merit. So we're getting Flagellant, and he is now a Blight character, and he is undead looking. I don't know if he's actually dead or not, but I mean, look, he's just torn up at this point. He's got no nose, his skin's all messed up, and I think this was the same animation as Exsanguinate in the Vestal Shrine. So they dropped the info on a PC Gamer article, and this is the Darkest Dungeon Twitter, and everyone's posting, going nuts and stuff like that. So really cool. I'll post this down below along with the link for y'all, but let's read the article together. Also, this weird picture of this dude getting stepped on. He seems to enjoy it. Okay. Let's see. A fan favorite is returning as Darkest Dungeon 2's final launch character, and he's looking worse than ever. Flagellant may have been flagellating a bit too much in the intervening years. As we approach DD2's 1.0 release on May 8th, Red Hook has revealed the final character coming to the Grimdark roguelite. Flagellant Nasty Man is far worse for wear than he appeared to be in the original Darkest Dungeon, and he brings with him a Blight-focused high-risk playstyle that's unconventional, adding to his appeal as a pain-loving weirdo. If you didn't play Darkest Dungeon 1, Flagellant in that game was a bleed character, but he was a high-risk, high-reward type playstyle. And the main gimmick was in DD1 where if he gets low HP, he gets powered up. If he hits Death's Door, he gets stronger, and he has moves that work when he's at low health, and he also has ways to get his health lower and then also heal himself at low health, as I might have said that already, but also even his affliction, he had a custom affliction called Rapturous, and he could not get a Virtue if he had 100 stress. So the dude had to get beat up to be his strongest, and that was a high risk playstyle because you can still just drop dead at the first death blow check. And so it sounds like something similar to that is returning. They do explain the moves a bit, so we'll talk about that. Flagellant showed up in the first DD via the Crimson Court DLC, and when you just look at him circa 2017, he's so happy. I don't want to open this. Oh, it links to the wiki page, which I already have open. That's cool. Yeah, this is him in the first game, if you didn't see the other video. Yeah. So it's interesting to see how he's changed. You enjoy that skin, buddy. You won't have it much longer. This person, whoever wrote this, is kind of funny. So Punish, this is from the first game, but yeah, just, hitting him. 9 damage for a crit. Not sure if that's upgraded or not. But, yeah, here he is in the Crossroads, has an actual spot as a playable hero. Damien, that's his canon name from the first game. So it is the same Flagellant, it sounds like. In the end, the dude is just literally dead, saying, "Please swap me a bounty hunter." I'm kidding, don't do that. Also shouts to Audrey being in this. Good pick. Sepsis, this looks like the Exsanguinate animation from the Shrine, like I was saying, where it just makes this weird eclipse black hole looking thing. I don't know what the explanation for that is. But here he is in battle. He's got his skills loaded up. This is the Valley fight. But looks really cool. This is about how he looked in the first game besides the skin. He's got the sash, the robe, no shirt, dude's topless. Got the collar and the hood and the bracelet and the flail, the three thing. The three-headed flail. There you go. So, outside of the skin and stuff, he does look pretty similar to how he used to look. Lash's gift, this was one of his camp skills in the first game, but I think they repurposed it. But otherwise, yeah, looks fantastic here. Also self-healing off this, so I'll probably explain what it does here. Similar to DD1, Flagellant does his best work when he's at Death's Door. The near-death state characters reach at 0 HP. That's what Death's Door is. He can spend health to fuel his own attacks and also tank damage meant for other characters in order to reach Death's Door faster. You're trying to cut toxic people out of your life. You're playing the wrong game, but also like Flagellant's unique stress response in Game 1. But also the Flagellant's unique stress response in-game is literally called Toxic, like his Rapturous. So instead of... This sounds like instead of a meltdown, he gets Toxic. Toxic! His Rapturous state in DD1, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And Reddick says the Flagellant's custom stress response impacts him less than a meltdown and reduces his health to a threshold where those abilities are immediately available while refreshing all his cooldowns to make sure they're up for use. That's really cool. Because in the first game, you know, people would say, oh, I don't mind letting him go Rapturous, but it was really dangerous to go Rapturous in DD1 just because Flagellant could still be uncontrollable on his turns, whereas Meltdown is a much safer mechanic normally. And so having him with his own different Meltdown with benefits is nice. It sounds better and safer than Rapturous was. Especially the cooldown refresh, that's really cool. Poison Thing extends to his kit. The Flagellant was always a creep, but now he's practically a walking corpse from all the punishment he's endured. Through sheer force of will, the Flagellant survives on the furthest fringe of mortality. He savors the sensations of perpetual, unending death. Red Hook explains. I wonder who this was. It might have been Chris. As his body begins to rot, his blood... This actually could have been Michaela, since she's the comms person, but... As his body begins to rot, his blood and organs became septic, and his power began to reflect a toxic, necrotic archetype. In a shift from DD1, the Flagellant is all about blight now, inflicting the damage over time effect with many of his abilities, which Red Hook broke down with a brief description. Punish, this is from the first game. Brutal Flail Strike to damage and blight an opponent. That's how it worked in DD1, except it was bleed. Fester destroys a corpse on the battlefield, blighting those around it. This sounds a bit like Bonnie's combo effects, where when she hits someone, it burns the person next to them. But it was either or. This sounds like it hits everything that's like around that. But what I like most about this is destroying corpses. I'm really a fan of how they handle corpses in this game, so having more corpse interaction is really cool. Deathless, the Flagellant sacrifices his own body to restore another hero's health. So it sounds like he hurts himself to heal someone else. Pretty straightforward. Endure, this is from DD1, relieves party members' stress at the cost of his own mind. This is pretty much what it did in DD1, so if you look here with Endure, it's the same thing. So he stresses himself while healing someone else's stress, and he gives himself speed in the first game. I forgot about that. And the higher it gets, the stronger the stress heal gets, and the risk goes down and the benefit goes up too. So that's cool. So Endure's coming back. Lash's Gift, like I said, that was a camp skill he had. Oh, it was Lash's Kiss. Actually, they're all named Lash's stuff, so it was probably this. It was probably Lash's Gift. Or the similar part of it. Strikes himself the flail, raising his own health while buffing an ally's strength and defense. Okay. So, kind of like this, but kind of not, because this didn't buff anyone. But he did heal himself. Acid Rain pummels opponents with a virulent downpour, dealing damage and blight in equal measure. This might be like Rain of Sorrows, you know, because they both have rain in the name here, but, you know, they don't exactly say what it does or where it targets and stuff like that, so just something similar. More, the Flagellant covets pain, using it to heal himself after drawing enemy attacks. He had something similar in the Vestal fight in her shrine, so that it might be the same mechanic here, which is if you hit him while he had it up, he healed for it. So gotta make sure. I mean, for you it's good, because if you're making him get hit and heal, that's much more beneficial than healing an enemy, which he used to be, or at least he was for that one fight. Suffer, this comes back from DD1, relieves a party member of their blight, bleed, and burn by taking it upon himself. This is pretty much what it did in the first game. So in the first game, Suffer marked himself, and he took their bleed and blight, but he gave himself some buffs for it too, and it cleared all of those effects off someone else, which means it sounds pretty similar in terms of what it does. So that's cool. Came back. There are some Suffer enthusiasts out there. I am not among them, but I want to see how it plays out. Sepsis inflicts tremendous blight while recovering from the brink of death. This definitely sounds like Exang. So Exsanguinate was the same thing. Healed himself, did a ton of damage, you know, with a bunch of bleed, except now it's blight, I believe, right? Inflicts tremendous blight while recovering from brink of death. Does sound like Exsanguinate. Undying injures himself to provide regeneration to another. This sounds like Reclaim. So he took bleed damage while, what is it? Regenerating someone else in the first game. And then finally, Necrosis. Strike down all blight-infected foes while his own flesh knits back together. Not quite sure how this one's going to operate. Sounds like it heals if he can hit someone that has blight. But we don't even have a picture of that one, I think. We have what? Gift, him in battle, Sepsis, in Crossroads, and then Punish, yeah. Okay. So there's spoilers coming up. If you don't want to see the boss that they put in the article that comes with Flagellant. I don't know if this is the extra mini boss they mentioned on the roadmap, because they mentioned Collector and someone else. I don't know if this is that mini boss or not. It might be. I could see it being that, but they haven't confirmed one way or the other, I think. Flagellant also brings the promise of a new enemy having cheated death one too many times. He's now pursued by Death herself, armed with a scythe astride a pale horse. Mini-boss encounter has a chance of triggering after every battle victory with Flagellant in the party. That's scary. Her skills are particularly designed to bypass the Flagellant's considerable death blow resist. The uncertainty of her appearance and her lethal combat potential make Death a real threat to any expedition. Surviving her will reward the players with a special item, the Death's Head Flower. I don't know if they show that or not. So, picture coming up. Last chance to bail out if you need to. Flagellant will also feature a fleshed out, playable backstory like the other characters and will be coming to DD2 when the game leaves early access on May 8th. And look forward to our full review of the game at that time, and until then, be sure to check out the DD2 hub on PC Gamer for our prior EA coverage. All right, now let's look at Death. So very, like, I don't know, like holes, you know? I don't know what these are like. Almost gives me like a beehive type of feel or something. I don't know, but I know there's that phobia with holes. So hopefully no one's feeling that looking at this, but yeah. This looks great. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be sepia tone every time you fight her, but also, you know, they weren't kidding when they said after a battle victory, because this is just in the sprawl. This is just some like fight node, and then she pops up with a couple tombstones, it looks like. But yeah, very interested to see how it plays out. Flagellant, very cool. Definitely a good choice to bring back, especially if you are like me and Vestal wasn't your first choice. I'll be nice and say it that way, but yeah, he looks fantastic. I hope they drop a trailer soon. I want to see how he plays out, and let me know what you're thinking down below in the comments, what you think of Flage. I'm sorry I wasn't Abom, and a lot of people wanted Abom, but yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.